Welcome to Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Hunter. If you see me looking a bit tall is because I'm sitting beside Lee Goldwire, a former pro athlete who is now a real estate investor from the city of Revere Beach, Florida. And he has a rich history. His story is inspirational, and I'm so happy to have him here. One of the things about his rich history I like in his basketball career, he has played in Greece, in the Middle East, in South America, and he'll name those places where he has played. And he has also played against Stephen Curry, two-time NBA MVP, in a game back and forth shootout, which Lee outscored Stephen Curry with his 34 points, and he made a career high of nine three-pointers and led his team to victory. Congratulations, Lee. I'm so happy to be sitting right here beside you. And it's such a great evening to have you here, Mr. Lee Goldwire.
Thank you.
I like that name.
Thank you.
Every time I hear Goldwire, I hear ching ching. I hear ching ching. But Lee, very inspirational young man. Lee led the boys basketball team to his first state championship in school history in 2004, which led him to be named West Palm Beach County Player of the Year. That's very big for us here. Lee was also named State Player of the Year by the FASAA Sports Writer. Lee began playing professional sports in 2008 in Athens, Greece, and he played over the next 10 years in three different continents. I like that. Europe, one of my favorite places, the Middle East, and South America. But I'm not going to give out much more. I'm going to let him tell you for himself. Lee Goldwire, I'm going to call you Lee. Lee, great having you on Pathway to Success. Wow, what a ride to success. I want you to tell me of your beginning, your humble beginning. Where are you from?
I'm from Riviera Beach, Florida, and growing up was challenging in a lot of ways. All right, I was a kid that grew up without my mom, and I grew up without my dad. So that in itself was pretty tough. My mom actually got into a really bad car accident when I was 9 years old, and the accident it left her unable to walk, talk, to do anything other. Again, she was pretty much a vegetable. All right, so me and my brothers and sisters, we would go visit her on Sundays at the nursing home, and the only thing my mother could do was just move her hand. That was the only thing she could do. And from that point on, me and my brothers and sisters, we just lived with our grandmother, and we just did the best we could.
So you started out. You didn't have both your parents in your life. Unfortunately, your mother had a accident that made her in a state where she's not able to move and talk. And without your mother around, and your father, but your grandmother
Yeah,
was in your life.
yeah.
And how did she motivate you? What motivated you? I know you saw your mother where she was at the time in the nursing home.
Right.
What really motivated you to say, you know what, Lee, I can make it to the top? Tell them. I want to tell them.
Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, it was the fact that there were so many people in my grandmother's house, right? And when the weekend came, my brothers and sisters they went with their dad, right? And but I was the only one still home with my grandmother, and I also could see, grandma's stressed out.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on, so I kind of, picked up the basketball, and I kind of told myself that if I'm gonna make it out, this is going to be my way out, right? So I was a typical teen. I'm trying not to get in trouble as much. There will be certain things that's happening, maybe at school, maybe a prom, or maybe a school dance, and I'm trying not to ask my grandmother for anything because I know she don't have it. And not only do I know she don't have it, I got five brothers and sisters,
Right.
who all need stuff. So I'm just trying to lessen the load as basically as much as possible.
So from that time, you decided to become proactive. You recognize your way out is through
Oh,
sports.
for sure.
What I liked about you, you didn't mention that you thought about selling drugs. I like that.
Right.
Out of the community you came out of, you didn't think about getting involved in the gang, but you thought of the way to get out is through sports.
Right.
How many hours you practice for?
Oh
Tell me.
man. Oh man.
And who's your favorite at that time in the year of basketball? Who was your favorite role model?
That's actually a really great question. That's a really great question. Because around that time, that's kind of like middle school time. So that's about 96, 97. And Jordan was my guy.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was my guy. And obviously I wanted to imitate him. So he was the guy I kind of wanted to be like. But throughout that time I was spending a lot of time at the parks. All right, just out there having fun. I mean, it's hot. This is South Florida.
Yeah.
It is hot, but my grandmother could find me at the park because I'm working on, to my mind, I'm working on my game. And my grandmother, she'll give me $1 every day. A dollar back then take you a long way. It's gonna take you a long way. So I would get like a little quarter juice, a little quarter snack, get some gum. Then I had one more of the quarter, and I was gonna make it stretch for that whole day. So a lot of times, I just spent a lot of times at the parks just playing, working on my game. And I didn't, and if I'm being honest, I didn't think I was that good back then. I was just a regular kid, just trying to get away from home, stay away from home, and stay out of trouble at the same time.
And you continue to practice. So
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was really if Michael Jordan is watching you today.
Yeah.
You'll be proud of this young man,
Yeah.
Lee Goldwire, on our program. So Michael Jordan was your role model,
Yeah.
and you practice hard. You spent
Yeah.
days out in the sun.
Yeah. I mean, South Florida is hot too, man. It was some days out there. It was like, listen, man, what are you really doing? But when you love what you're doing, and I kind of had at the time, now they say you have a reason, you have a why. But at the time, it was just because I didn't want to go home to dysfunction. Right? I lived with my grandmother, brothers and sisters. One of my uncles stayed there. He had alcohol and drug addiction. So there would be times I come home from school, he may be in the middle of the kitchen, all right, listening to music, hard down, sweating. It's like 2:33 in the afternoon, but he's high.
Yeah.
Right. At the time, when I see that, I'm like, nah, this can't be normal. Right. But now as an adult, I look back and say he was battling his own demons. It's just I happen to be coming home from school and I'm seeing that. So when I go to the park, I'm trying to get away from all of that.
So your way out was sports. You
For sure.
recognized to get out of that type of situation,
Mhm.
you had to work hard, train hard
Yep.
to become like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so from getting $1 incentive,
Yeah.
you step from $1 to a couple thousands of
Right.
dollars,
Certainly.
right?
Certainly.
And but where did it all started? When did you play your first game in school? Because you led the basketball team to its
Right.
first championship right here.
Right. So even when we talk about high school for me, at the time I went to William T. Dwyer High School, and my best friend, like my brother to this day, Corey Young, we were coming in as freshmen, but we were highly touted freshmen. And I remember having this conversation with Corey, and he was like, "Yo, we're gonna go try out for the JV team." And I said, "Well," I said, "Bro, we might as well just go out for varsity." I
Right.
said, "If we go out for varsity and we don't make it, we just go down. No pressure." I say, "But we should try to go for the top first."
Right.
And that was our mentality. And we went for the top. And we actually started that year as freshmen on varsity on a team that we went to the Elite Eight. All right. So my mentality was kind of always we're going to shoot for here. Right. We're going to see what we're actually made of. Right. And so in 2004, when we won our state championship, that was the first state championship in Palm Beach County history for big schools. Because you have 3A, 2A, 1A,
Wow.
which is small schools, and you got 4A, 5A, 6A for big schools. So we were the first school for big schools to win the championship in Palm Beach County history.
Wow, congratulations. That's a great achievement.
Yeah.
That's a great achievement. But you also was named Player of the Year also by the FHSAAA sports writers that year.
And you know what? That was big for me, and I'm gonna say that because after my junior, I never did it for the awards, right? But when you're doing it, you're putting so much time in, you're committed to it that inevitably you want to be the best. But after my junior year, I believe I missed the game-winning shot to go to the state finals my junior year, and like that next day, I was in the gym because my mindset was I didn't want to miss that shot again.
Yeah.
Right. So I started putting in like overtime as far as working on my game because I wanted to become better. And I'm not the type that if something happens to me, I blame you. I blame myself. Right. I want to say, but I look at myself first before I blame anybody. So I looked at the situation. Well, where can I get better? I know I'm good, but how can I get better? How can I prevent this situation again? Right. So I put more, as a kid that worked hard, I put more time in the gym because I felt like that was the only way for me to accomplish my goals. Now I became the state player of the year. I won a state championship. I got a scholarship to go to school. So it was a ton of great things that came from me just playing basketball and working hard.
A lot of people didn't know that you were an introvert.
Yeah.
So that's the way you really expressed
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
through your actions on the
Yeah.
court.
Yeah.
Really.
Listen, when I tell you, man, listen, my aunt would say, she say, the only time you move fast is when you playing basketball. Every time you just want to be to yourself. And at the time, I'm growing up because, like I said, my brother and sister would go with their dads. So my grandma would be probably at work. So it was me by myself a lot. So either I'm playing the video games or I'm in my head a lot. And it took a lot of, therapy, took a lot of introspection to kind of come out of that because it's easy to stay comfortable. It's easy to stay in your shell. It's easy to do what you normally do. So it took a lot of work to kind of get up out of that, and I'm proud of that too.
Yeah. I'm proud of you because um, there are many kids who are, if they're in your position, would have become depressed. Mothers in the nursing home,
Yeah.
your father's nowhere around, all the siblings within the house, but they still have their father
Right.
to come and take them out.
Mm-hmm.
But you had a mind of a winner, of a champion, and you didn't let that get you down. You start saying, well, everybody's going out, but I'm going to go out there
Right.
and express myself because you had a goal in life, you had a role model in life also.
Certainly.
And so you went out and did all of this. Another thing that I like what you said, even though you missed, you said the state championship by a shot,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't put you down. You have always had a strong mind. That's what I like about I'm talking to you. You saw a young man with a strong, positive mindset to recognize, and this is inspirational to all those young people, all those who are watching, persons who are in business, persons who are aspiring to be a professional athlete. Whatever you're inspiring to do, no matter what happened, if you make a mistake yesterday or you were turned down yesterday, today you get up and continue going for the goal.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, that's the whole key to life because life is going to happen regardless. I'm telling you, man, life is just going to happen. Anything that can happen is just going to happen. But it's also our mindset and how we respond to what happens, right? We can look at it, hey, life is just picking on me, or I know at times I felt like God didn't love me.
Right.
And I'm saying that because I didn't have my mom or my dad, and growing up where I'm from, a lot of kids didn't have their dad, but I'm like, God, I don't have both.
Right.
What's going
Right.
on?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I had to really look at myself and listen, life is gonna happen. Then I started reading more just about different other successful people, and I would read about their struggles.
Who are some of the persons?
Well, I mean, the first book that I read, there's a book by what is his name? Robert Greene has a book called Mastery, right? But the book is about different people becoming successful through whatever trials and tribulations. And when I read their story, I said, you're not the only person that has trials and tribulations, but what are you going to do about it? Because no matter how bad my story is, nobody's going to write me a 7-figure check and say, hey, man, you had a rough life.
No.
Check. You know what I mean? Because nobody's not going to do
No,
that.
nobody's
So
gonna
I
do it.
had to figure it out. Like, well, this is how we're going to do this. And if I mess up, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So I do a lot of, even now, I do a lot of affirmations, right? I do meditations, just reminding myself, one, be easy on myself, right? You're doing the best you can. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. It's not the end of the world.
Within such a big family, so many siblings. Now, not everybody, I'm sure, believed in you.
Oh,
I'm going to say this now because
sure.
you're a young man who have overcome the odds. From the beginning, you came into the world. Your mother got an accident. Your father was in your life. You're in a big home, a huge home with so many persons there.
Right.
Right there and then, if you had a weak mind, you'd have thrown the towel, but you didn't.
Oh, man.
But I'm sure with your desire that you had and your passion for playing basketball and to achieve the same status as Michael Jordan, I'm sure that there are family members who never thought, who said, you, Lee, I don't think you can make it.
For sure. But then I
How did you cope with that? Because I'm sure you don't want to call any names on the program here because you want to can still see them at when it's Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving.
But, around the corner.
Right. But there must have been persons who never believe in your dream, your goal.
I would say I wouldn't say they didn't believe, but once they saw my commitment, my dedication, like my brother called my grandma, my family called me Man. That's like our family nickname.
Right.
Where's Man at? Man at the park. Where's Man at? He at a game. I'm always doing something revolving around basketball. So it got to the point where they had to believe in me because I believe so much that this got to work because I'm not doing nothing else.
Yeah. So you literally force them
Yeah.
to believe in your dream,
Yeah.
and you show them that you're determined to make it, and you made it.
Yeah. I mean, they saw my commitment though. They saw how hard I'm working. They see I'm at the gym. You know that they know how much time I literally put in on my game to become better. And I wasn't the kind of kid that wanted to be in the streets.
Right.
Like I knew from an early age that wasn't for me. I didn't want to live that type of life. So and I know that I wanted to be successful. So once I chose my way, it was nothing nobody could have said that was going to deter me anyway. And if you told me I couldn't do it, now I got to show you.
I like.
Now
We-
I got to show you.
I like that. We're gonna take a short break. We have a winner right here this evening on Pathway to Success. I'm gonna ask everybody to stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're gonna look now. We're gonna look for Lee after you won that state championship and all of that, and the Sports Writers
Right.
Award. Then you began playing 2008 in Athens, Greece. We're gonna speak about Greece
Okay.
and those nations because I know it's a beautiful
Yeah.
nation. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a short break. Pathway Success, and we'll be right back. Oh my word! Back. Oh my. We have Lee Goldwire. Goldwire. I'm sorry, Goldwire. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna stick to Lee. Nickname Man.
Yeah. Family call me.
Family
Man.
call him Man.
Yeah.
With us this evening on Pathway to Success, and we're having a great time. Even though you did so well in sports, you still did academically well.
Certainly. Certainly. And it's funny you say that. It's really because
Yes,
I didn't want to.
it's rare to find professional athletes that do that.
I know. I know. And I didn't want to be a dumb job.
Yeah,
You know, I didn't want to be a person who had people doing their work for him. Now, as an athlete, there's opportunities for that.
yeah, yeah.
Don't misunderstand me, but I wanted to take pride that I can do this. Right? I didn't want to, and I'm a black kid, a black athlete. I didn't want to be a black dumb athlete, you know.
Yeah.
So I took pride in my schoolwork. Right, I averaged I think a 3.0. I graduated with a 3.0, and it wasn't like nobody saying, "Hey, get your grade." It wasn't nobody saying who checked. It wasn't no mother and my dad or my grandma checking my homework. Right, it was just me saying, "You know what? I don't want nobody calling my grandma about school.
Yeah.
All right. On the other hand, I know that if I get a 3.0, I don't have to score 1,600 on the SAT.
Right.
Right. Because growing up, when I go to the park, you see a lot of different guys that can play. And you ask them like, yo, why you ain't go to school or why this? And oh, I ain't had a grades. I ain't had a grade. So in my mind, I said, well, these guys are pretty good, and if they ain't got the grades, then I need to try to do something different. So once I went to got into as a freshman in high school, I said, man, if I average a 3.0, all I need is like a 860 on the SAT. I don't know what it is now, but all I need is an 860. So by the time my junior year come, I knocked that out of the way. So I'm trying to remove any obstacles that's gonna stop these people from giving me a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no issues, no problems. So the grades taken care of. They gonna call my teacher. He's a good kid, respect. He gonna listen. He gonna show up. I don't got no issues. So, but being a student athlete was important to me
Yeah.
because it showed me that I'm more than one. I'm just more than just an athlete. I can do other things. So that was big. That was like a big personal goal for myself.
All rounded, smart, very athletic, a young man who know what he's all about. I like that few athletes have that. You have a BA in psychology.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have obtained a psychology degree.
Man.
And it's amazing you got that degree in 2008.
Yep.
The same here when you went away to play.
Yep. I graduated college in May 2008, and August 2008 I was going to Greece. But the psychology degree, I wanted that since I was 7. And
Since you were
since
7.
once I understood the dysfunction in my family, in my mind, I got to figure out what's wrong with my family so I can help it. So now I understood that psychology could help me with this. So at 7 years old, I knew I was gonna get my psychology degree. So he was either gonna play ball or become a psychologist. So I ended up getting my degree, ended up playing professionally, and it worked out.
Tell me the transition. It was so impressive. The transition from West Palm Beach to Greece. What was that like?
Man.
And how long is the flight? I must ask.
So even like when I think back about that time, my agent, he didn't prepare me for nothing. Cause I'm a kid from Riviera Beach. This is the heart of the hood,
Yeah.
right? We're going to Athens, Greece, so it's like a 12-hour flight. All right. When you get there, the first thing I see is that one, the outlets, the plugs is different.
Yeah.
So everything I have that's gonna plug into my phone, to my computer, none of that works. So the first trip I gotta go is to like the electronics store, which is like a Best Buy, but it's whatever store they have, right? So that was one of the craziest things. And this is 2008 too, so Wi-Fi ain't Wi-Fi now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you would be in an apartment, there's no Wi-Fi. So this was my first time being away like that, being overseas. And I would go to, they had like a local cafe where you can get on the computer and you can use the Wi-Fi, all right? And like I said, it's 2008, so in the building, that place, it's nothing but cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
All right, everybody just smokes cigarettes and they had their coffee. So by the time I go home, it might be 4 in the morning, and there's a time difference.
Yeah.
So it's like a 7-hour, 6-hour time difference. So if it's 4 in the morning here, it might be 10 here. I mean, if it's 4 in the morning in Greece, it's 10 here, right? So I'm staying up trying to talk to my family. I'm just trying to get any piece of comfort, right? But I got to be up at 8 o'clock for practice. So when I get to practice, like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, man, listen, I've been at the cafe all night. You know what I mean? So it was a ton of adjustment. It was a lot of adjustment. Sometimes the hot water, there's no hot water. No Wi-Fi in the place.
Yeah.
The first car I had over there, like teams to kind of give you a car to move around,
Yeah.
and I had like this yellow bright car. You know what I mean? So everywhere I go,
You were shining all over the place.
Man,
you represent the Sunshine City well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yellow.
Yeah, it was different. It was a lot of stuff that was different, and at the time, like I wasn't trying no different foods.
Right.
It was just you're gonna give me rice and chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't mess rice and chicken up too bad. So I'm gonna just stick with rice and chicken. You know what I mean? Anytime I try anything else, I just felt like I got sick. Maybe it was in my mind, maybe it wasn't. But rice and chicken from here on out.
So it really took some time. It was really a culture shock from what we're used to in the States right here. And then you had to how did you adjust in terms of well, if you would be up sometimes at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and then you had to be at practice 8 p.m. a.m. in the morning. I'm sorry.
AM, yeah.
How long do you have to practice for? What was
Oh
it like?
man.
What's the difference from playing
Right.
basketball here?
Right. So
Their setup.
you asked me what was different, right? So in Europe, in for us as Americans, when you hear a 2 a day practice, that's usually like training camp or that's usually like punishment, right? So in Europe, 2 a day practice is customary. So I came from America where we do one practice a day, maybe 9 to 11 or 9 to 12. It was like, so okay, I got to be there 8, but it might not start till 9. So 9 to 11, you got a little break, and then the whole city shuts down from like 1 to 4 because of their siesta. So you can't do anything. Then you got practice from 6 to 8. So it was just different. It was a thousand times different. And it took a while for me to adjust.
But they liked you, I'm sure, because I was just watching a clip of your game, and you really brought it to them in there in Greece.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah, I can see that the moves.
Yeah. I'm a pretty good basketball player. But the one thing I do want to say about Greece was I did get cut that year. I got cut in like November of that year, and I didn't understand how to get along with the other players. I didn't understand how to get along with the coach because it was so different. Some things that sometimes they would ask me to do stuff that was so against how I was taught.
Right.
And then I would kind of go back and forth. And then I actually, when I got cut, I couldn't believe it. But I'm like, damn, they just cut me. And not only did they cut me, the player that they brought in was like literally in the stands. And I knew him
Right.
throughout the basketball circle. So, I talked to him after the game and I'm like, yo, what's going on, man? You on the team? Oh, we about to get cut. We needed some help.
Right.
We definitely needed some help. So I'm talking to him like, man, you on the team? Man, we finna go crazy right now, man. I'm like, yeah, but, I'm like, who you coming to get though? Because you only have 2 or 3 players, like 2 or 3 Americans per team. He was like, nah, I'm coming to get you. And it was like,
that's what he said.
Yeah, yeah. And that's when I learned the business of how to coexist with situations that's not in your best interest. So I ended up getting cut. Then I went to Bulgaria. We won a championship there. And
what I want to say, I'm going to interject on that one. You got cut, but that did not stop you to pursue playing basketball.
Yeah, because remember I told you I don't blame them.
Right.
I'm transplanted into their culture. I gotta adjust because I'm the one that's most disposable. The same way they just brought the other guy in, they're gonna keep doing that with the foreign players. I'm a foreign player in that country. Their local players can't get cut. It's just the way it is. Their contract is whatever.
Right.
But as a foreign player, I can sign right now and get cut next month. They bring in somebody else. So I had to kind of change my mind. Like, okay, if that's what it is, then I need to change how I do stuff. And I had a veteran that kind of sat me down. Like, listen, you got to learn how to coexist with these situations. He was like, no matter what's going on back home, no matter if your hot water ain't working, your Wi-Fi ain't working, they still want you to perform. So I just had to make some mental adjustments, and once I did that, my career took off for real.
But then you take the big leap to Bulgaria, very beautiful Bulgaria in Europe also.
Yeah.
What was that like? Transition from Greece to Bulgaria. How different? Was it any better? Did you have Wi-Fi at home? Were you driving a brighter color car than gold? What happened? Tell us.
I got to Bulgaria, and I know I sound from Riviera Beach a few times, but I'm from Riviera Beach.
That's good.
When I got to Bulgaria in December, it's like below 20.
Really?
Snowing. Crazy. So when I see that, I'm already like, I don't like this. I don't like this because I don't like cold, right? But when I get there, I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna make the best of the situation, right? So we get to the gym to go to practice. The gym doesn't have, it's not heated, right? So it's literally like playing outside, right? It's literally like playing outside, except you in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And the coach is trying to tell you, go hard, do this, and now I'm listening. I'm like, I'm gonna just shake my head like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go hard. But I'm like, I'm not even warm.
Right.
Like I'm not even loose. And they didn't have hot water either.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
they didn't have
really?
hot water either. So
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm telling you, this is 2000. Like this now is like 2009. So it was the facilities aren't up to date. It's not like here in America where things are kind of updated periodically over there. It was like an old gym that the teams in the '70s used to play in. So it was just a different mindset. But I learned to adjust. My car wasn't no better though. I mean, it was like
What did
my car wasn't no better, man. Nah.
What color was this car?
At least it was great.
It was great.
It was great. It was like a old station wagon, man. I'm telling you, man. And it was snowing so much, and you got to really like crank it up.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't know you can kind of go to management and be like, listen, I need a new car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, man, you know what? Let's try to just make the best of the situation, But and we actually won. That was my first championship I won overseas, in Bulgaria. We played against some. We went to Russia that year, Latvia. We went to a bunch of other countries that I never got to experience, and so I ended up making the best of it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you went there and became a champion.
Yeah.
And then after you left Bulgaria, you went to the Middle East.
Well,
For a little while, or the Middle East, South America.
Well, after Bulgaria, I spent some time in the development league for the NBA, which is now they call it the G League.
Because you won a number of Player of the Week award also during your career time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up. The thing about when you go overseas is this: each team usually can have up to 2 to 3 Americans, right? So a lot of times my mentality was, if I don't play well, if I don't perform well, they'll send me home. And I can say it's like pressure, I can say it's like stress, but it's very real, right? But I combated that with my work ethic, with putting in the proper work, making sure my body right. So when I came home during the summers, I might come home and say, May, I got to be right back out of here in August, right? So I had to make certain decisions, like, you know what, it's a Friday night. I've been working working on my game, working on my body. Do I want to go out? Or it's a Sunday night. It's a good night in the city, people hanging out. What do I want to do? And I'm saying, you know what? What matters to me most is when I get back overseas in my career. So I sacrificed those nights. My friends, they went out, had fun, which is cool, but I had to make those decisions to prepare my body and my mind for what I'm about to endure. So those little sacrifices, I call those stacking days up. So if I can stack good days up, being consistent, when I get overseas, won't be a breeze, but I can handle it better because I'm in shape. I take care of my body. I'm locked in. I'm focused.
And you're still living overseas and playing basketball. Which country you said were your favorite? Your favorite?
My favorite country was Dubai.
Yes.
By far was Dubai, and I would say,
aren't we all? Everybody's watching. I'm sure people's going, Dubai.
Yeah, I love it, and the reason why I love Dubai might be different than other people, but that was kind of the first place where I didn't feel racism. Like I didn't feel like I was like, there was places I done been to and I'm getting stared at because I'm black, right? People really look at you like, are you really real? You like that type of stuff. So in Dubai, I didn't feel that. I didn't, because there's so many people coming in from different places that they get an opportunity to see other black people. So, and I mean, as far as the structure of Dubai, was beautiful. Had some great time.
What about the vehicle? Should be interesting because Dubai is luxury.
Yeah.
I'm sure their infrastructure is amazing.
It was beautiful.
What's their league like?
The league was pretty cool. It was like a special tournament that they had. I ended up being out there, I think, for like 2 months. So it was really cool. Met some other lifelong friends that I met out there, and it's still to this day is one of my favorite places. And I got to go back too.
Oh, you should.
I got to go back.
Let's go. We'd love to go with you also.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
But Dubai is extremely hot now. I'm sure it's way hotter than here.
Well, during the seasons are flip-flop. I believe December is kind of like the spring. No, it's summer. It becomes summer. Yeah, and then it flip-flops like maybe March or something. I think it starts to shift. Yeah. But it can get hot over there. It can get very cold, from my understanding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got to check the temperature when you go in these places. I'm telling you, you got to check the temperature.
You got to know the right time to go to Dubai. Yeah. What did you eat there? Because I recognize you're a picky eater like myself.
I am.
You're a chicken and rice type of person. I'm like that. What did you eat there?
Probably the same.
The same. You keep it same way.
Yeah. Probably the same. I got sick a couple times overseas trying different stuff, but But this is like 2011, I think I was there, so I was still on chicken and rice, and but they had a bunch of American restaurants that I tried as well. I mean, it was such a touristic place that you can get anything you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
So while you each time you came back, you're celebrated as a star.
Yeah.
You're living in Dubai. I'm sure people when they see you, they see money. Can I get you a new? Can you get me a Nike sneakers? Can you get me a Boss T-shirt? Can you get me a Rolex watch? Has anybody ever approached you for that? What are some of the requests you got from some of your friends or even family members who are looking at you're making big money now?
I mean, a couple bills paid for a couple months, things like that. But you got to kind of nip that in the bud. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, they done got me before, but yeah, we don't figure that out. I don't figure how to maneuver through those kind of requests.
So then we're going to take a short break because we're going to look at you now. You've moved from professional sports success, where you've motivated yourself on your own to playing professionally in several countries. But before we go into that, you played against Stephen Curry.
Yeah, I played against Steph Curry. And,
Tell me a little bit how did that go?
Yeah.
What was it like?
I mean, that's one of my greatest moments as far as playing basketball, because at that time we know who he is, right? And I love to compete. But in that game specifically, I went to UNC Charlotte, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and he went to Davidson University. And Davidson is in Charlotte. So in Charlotte, they have something called a Hornet's Nest, which is like they plan for like a trophy, so to speak. And it's a rivalry, right? So in 2007? Yeah, 2007 when we played against them, it was a close game, going back and forth. And when I tell you Steph can really play, Steph can really play. I tip my hat to him because obviously he's an NBA two-time MVP, but he has a really great work ethic, very similar to mine. But in that game, we went shot for shot, three-pointer for three-pointer. And in my mind, I'm telling myself I can't miss, because if I miss, I know he's gonna make. You know what I'm saying? I know he's gonna make. But we kept going back and forth, and I ended the game with 34. He ended the game with 32, and our team got the win.
I like that. I like that. Bragging rights right over here.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, right?
Yeah,
Steph Curry. If you're watching, I have someone right here on pathway to success. Or bragging rights over you in that game. But we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come right back to Lee, and we're going to look at his transition from professional sports to now real estate professional broker, all of these things. We'll be right back. Mindset, and I went to low. So
It's hard,
yeah. Well, it's cold.
It's very cool. Right?
Cold, yeah, extremely cold. But it's up here. You recognize that you want to make it and you want to go back home success. You feel special when you come back home among your friends, right? Everybody's looking up to you, the girls, everybody. You want to keep that high. Like that. This is your camp?
Also, I still do personal training.
That's good. I like that.
Sharing
Wow.
tips for guys coming up.
Oh
Like this kid right now, he's
This
playing
kid.
overseas.
What?
too.
He's good, man.
Yeah.
He's playing overseas right
Love doing it. I go to
motivation.
schools all the time. I think
That's good.
I love it.
Welcome back to Pathway to Success. We're having a great time with Lee here, a young man who came out of West Palm Beach, Revere Beach, right here, and he motivated himself. He had a dream. I like that. I think a rapper did a song like that. Ali had a dream. I think it was the game.
Yeah, he did.
I like that song, the dream. And you had a dream, and you were determined. You worked hard. You persevered against the odds, against all the trials, but you made it on top. But what I like about it, not many former professional athletes today, um, many of them are not as successful as they were. Many of them have not really think about after sports,
Right.
after retirement, what would they do? But you have always had it together. You're now a real estate investor. I
Right.
want you to tell me a little bit about that. What made you decide to make that transition after finish playing sports to real estate?
What is actually a really great question. A couple things happened. COVID happened,
Hmm.
of course, and I started to try. Well, I wanted to figure out what did I want to do next, right? And I know that for myself personally, I didn't want to work for anybody else, because I know my personality, I know my drive, I know the things that I bring to the table, and so I kind of dove into real estate investing. I enjoy fixing and flipping. We do wholesaling. We got a couple things that we do under the real estate umbrella, and I wasn't privy to it while I was playing. But I partnered with a guy in our city, and things have been. I mean, just working with him just have taken my real estate to a whole nother level. And he's been a great mentor to me. He's been there for me every step of the way. So kind of linking up with him is kind of taking me right up.
That's good.
Yeah,
Real estate is very profitable.
yeah.
You'll never lose from real estate. So what you do?
Yeah.
Do you buy derelict properties or properties that are old and you flip it
Right,
back? You
right. So
fix.
the goal is to buy properties that need work.
Yeah.
Kind of property need new kitchen, new bathroom, landscape, new roof. Those are the properties that we primarily focus on because those are property that we can add value to. Right, we can put our touch on it. We can do some things to it to make kind of help the value of the neighborhood go up as well.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And what are the strategies for those who are watching you, because you made the transition from professional sports um, to in the direction of real estate, and that's a great transition. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Shaquille O'Neal have been just purchasing stuff. I mean, so many
yeah.
stuff.
I love Shaq.
Have you ever sold any home to any famous athletes?
Well, nah. Well, that would be fall under the side of like a realtor.
Right,
I'm not.
realtor.
I'm not.
You're an investor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
So our model is different.
you like you'd flip and flop homes
Yeah,
like HGTV.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, oh my word.
So whoever the end buyer, we don't know.
Right.
You know, it could be Shaq, but we don't know. Yeah.
Well, it could be a former coach from Greece.
Yeah.
I don't think you're
That's
smart.
real.
That's real. That's real.
That's
That's a
great
good
point.
one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's a
could be a
great point.
former
Yeah,
coach
yeah,
from Greece.
yeah.
But even this industry, this is an industry where it takes creativity.
Oh, yeah.
It
Certainly, certainly, and part of what I do within the company is, I'm an acquisitions manager,
Mhm.
so there's a ton of calls that have to go out to prospective sellers, and sometimes it can get uh, boring
Yeah.
sometimes, but part of my self motivation, my self discipline is kind of seeing it through.
So what was the biggest project you have done in terms of remodeling a home?
Uh, right now we just flipped a property down in Boca. It was a land deal.
Boca.
Yeah,
What? You're
yeah.
doing good.
Yeah, it was a land deal. It was a lot. We should be finishing up on that pretty soon.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
and it's in the Boca area, so it's in a good area too. Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
So I can see you having a lot of properties all over West Palm Beach. Who knows? Maybe you go back to Bulgaria, buy a property. Go back to Greece, buy a property. goes to you went to South America?
I was South America, I was in Argentina and Uruguay.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a chance to see Diego Maradona play?
I,
No,
I,
no, you
I know,
didn't.
I know he's a legend.
Yes, that's you did.
But I didn't get a chance to see him play.
Yeah,
I know how much they revere him. I
yeah,
know how
they,
much
they
love
revere
him.
him
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I didn't even know that they played professional basketball there because in Argentina soccer is a religion.
I know.
It's a religion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
church.
And it's crazy. It's funny that you say that because even in Europe, basketball is big, but it's nothing compared
The
to
soccer.
soccer or
No.
football. Well, you may be from
Yeah,
they call it
yeah.
football.
Jamaica they call it
Yeah,
football.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's nothing compared to soccer.
yeah.
Like it doesn't even compare on no level. But basketball's still pretty big though.
And so now that you're in this field, what is it for persons who are looking forward to attain a career in this field?
Right.
What is you like to say to the people?
One of the things I would say is seek knowledge. Sometimes we speak to people, especially in Riviera Beach, and people, our grandparents or our moms might have older properties that need work. And a lot of times other investors can come into those communities and buy those properties for cheap because those properties aren't being properly maintained. All right, so sometimes people think, oh, I got my grandmother house in this area and it's just gonna the property just gonna sell. Well, if we get to the property and everything needs to be done, the value of the house is just simply going to go down. So one of the things I would say, if you're going to have your grandmother's property, your mom or your aunt, you're going to have to put some money into that property to keep it up.
Keep the value.
Yeah,
Take care of the property.
yeah.
Keep the
I mean,
property.
but I also understand that everybody don't have the means of the fund, but there are definitely programs, loans that you can take out to help facilitate those type of things. But if not, then other investors are definitely going to come into those communities and continue to buy properties.
Right, right.
Right.
No, there's been a lot of that now. I've
Yeah.
got calls from investor before, and I said no, but my property is in excellent shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, the investors are still looking to get property to flip it,
Right.
reinvent it, and sell it back at a higher rate
Yeah.
on the market. And right now, real estate, what you would say to our viewers, real estate is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, real estate is more of a long-term plan, right? It's not necessarily a get rich quick type of thing. It's something that you want to, if you have a duplex or if you have a property you want to hold it, you can collect rents out of it, then that helps passive income,
Right.
right? But it's not nothing that's get rich quick for sure.
Right.
You got to have a plan.
But even though you have made this transition to what you're doing right now
Right.
in the real estate business, do you still, as a real estate investor, do you still have do you go into schools, do motivational speaking? Do you help younger athletes?
Well, yeah, I do a ton of motivation speaking. I do go to schools, I go to camps, I go to basketball teams, I go to pro teams, I go to college teams. Sometimes I could be driving and see a group of kids, and I just go speak to them. Just kind of, and I like to share my story because I come from a very difficult background,
Yeah.
and I know what it takes to make it at the high level. And a lot of times, sometimes kids just don't know. Sometimes they don't know the way. And I feel like if I can just put like a bug in their ear, give them some direction, that little piece of information can literally change your life. If somebody listen, man, you can make it, but you got to do X, Y, Z. Sometimes kids don't know what X, Y, Z is, but since I have the experience, I like to share that, and I do that for me because I love to do that.
It's good. Do you have any kids for yourself?
I got two. I got two boys. I got a 14-year-old and I got a 6-year-old.
That's good.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Does the 40-year-old play basketball?
Yeah, he plays. He actually had a camp yesterday. He's pretty good.
You think he's better than you when you were 14? Maybe you can't say that if he's watching you, but you better say yes.
I actually listen. I think he has a. I think he has an opportunity. I think he has an opportunity to be much better than me due to my experience and my guidance that can help him get to another level. But I think he's gonna be special. I really do. And I'm not saying that just because he's my son, but I actually see something. Now, if my son wasn't good, I wouldn't be like, yo, I'd be like, listen, I told him to do something else. You know what I'm saying? But he can play though. He's in ninth grade. He's gonna be a stud in years to come.
That's good.
Yeah.
And the 6-year-old, what I like, you're spending time with your sons.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have that when you were growing up.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that because once I became a father, it means everything in the world to be a dad.
Yeah.
And not just to be a dad and do stuff on Instagram, but to be in, day out stuff, right? The little stuff that's going to shape their life. Because I got boys, right? Eventually, they got black boys. They're going to go into this world and they're going to experience some things that I won't be there to be able to protect them. So I want to teach them things that they know how to handle those situations, right? Even a couple of days ago, my son experienced some stuff on social media, and I would deem it social media like bullying. Right, but I had a conversation with him just to see how he was feeling, what he thought about it, because it was some comments being made toward him, and I seen how he responded. So I gave him some nuggets on how to respond better, and also to understand. Look, sometimes people are going to say things just to get under your skin.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want you to take that or internalize that and make you think that, hey, something wrong with me. And I said, listen, ain't nothing wrong with you. All right, so
I like that.
But I also like to keep that communication open with him, because I'm your dad. I need you to talk to me about any and everything. You know what I mean? So I just want him to understand that, hey, we here. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a great hallmark of a father, a good father. For one who never really had your father around, your mother, because of unfortunate circumstances. But today you have two sons and you're doing well.
Thank you.
And you're a true inspirational success story. And for those who have really watched this broadcast, I hope that they have been inspired. I know I've been inspired by your story, and your sons also.
Yeah, I hope so.
They will, because of your experience. And what I like about your experience as a professional athlete, you've been across the different nations. You had to leave your comfort zone to change, to cope, and to readjust to another person's way of living and culture, and even the way they practice over there.
Yeah.
And now you're in the real estate business.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great way to end this week, Pathway to Success. A true success story, one that has motivated us. And I'm sure you watching here today, for all those who are watching Lee right here, you'll be motivated. Not everyone will have two parents in their lives. Sometimes coming up in lives, in our life or growing up, sometimes we don't have that opportunity or that blessing to have both parents. But you can make it. All you need to do is believe in yourself. All you need to do is visualize yourself at the top. Um, he will tell you many persons doubted him, many persons have spoken negative things against him, but he kept his eyes on the prize. And today is a success story. Lee, I want to thank you so much.
Man, thank you.
It's a great privilege having you on Pathway to Success. And even as we close this segment of the show, I want to say this to you, that winners weren't born overnight. You know, they had to work hard. They had to stay motivated. Am I right?
Certainly.
Motivated, determined to make it. And you have to believe in who you are. Don't listen to the naysayers out there, but tell yourself daily that you're a winner and that you can achieve all things, and you will. Have a great week.